Moscow police are asking for help to find a car that could have critical information about the murders.
And why you should have a plan for pet custody coming up on Murrow News 8.
Northwest Public Broadcasting Studios on the campus of Washington State University. This is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Grady Glover.
And I'm Reese Holmes. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
The Moscow police released a new press release last night. Murrow News 8's Catherine Rowley was in Moscow earlier today.
I'm here outside of the Moscow Police Department where last night the Moscow police released a new statement. They're looking for a car that you can be seen on your screen. So if you know anyone that has that type of car in the Moscow area, you are urged to call the Moscow Police tip line or send an email. They believe that this car may be crucial to this case in cracking it and finding a suspect and getting justice for these families. In Moscow, I'm Catherine Rowley, Murrow News 8.
Thank you, Catherine. Moscow police are still looking for any new leads that could help in this case.
Recently, body cam footage was released from the Moscow Police Department of some officers talking with students on the night of the murders. The body cam footage has picked up a lot of attention, but police want you to let you know that this incident is completely unrelated to the murders and have said that the white car in the background of the footage is not the one they're looking for. This footage was obtained through a regular public records request. A few weeks ago, Murrow News 8 reported on a local theft case regarding a broken up couple and their dog. Many unmarried couples adopt animals together with the idea that they'll stay together and share that pet without planning for any of those awkward what-ifs. Our reporter Alex McCollum found a couple that does have a plan.
Meet Banana Jones.
I've wanted a kitten for a really long time.
Adopted by WSU students and couple Lindsay Woosley and Brendan Wedekind, this kitten has toys, a nice apartment, and 2 happy parents.
One thing I think is so funny about cats is like when they're curious about something, they just slap it.
But this isn't the case for every couple that shares a pet, especially Pullman resident Ryan Hamilton.
According to this November police report I obtained through a public records request, Hamilton asked his ex-girlfriend Kelsey Moffitt to watch his dog for 1 week. Then she refused to return the dog, saying it belonged to her.
The report also says Hamilton purchased the dog while he and Moffitt were in a relationship. When we first reported on this case in November, Pullman PD Operations Commander Aaron Bashirs said they filed the case as a theft other and that he couldn't comment on the specifics of the case. We've since reached out to Hamilton and the department for further details, but they've not responded. In Washington state, pet custody is treated like property ownership, so your dog is legally the same as your computer or running shoes. And according to McKinley-Irwin family law, in divorces, judges usually award the pet to whomever was mostly responsible for it. Hamilton and Moffitt haven't divorced, and this is still a theft case, but it does bring up the question of where pets go during a breakup. Let's go back to Banana Jones.
Well, she wanted the cat. She
Yeah.
lives at your place.
It's a little uncomfortable to think about, but Wedekind and Woosley do have a contingency plan in the event of a breakup.
Brendan did technically buy him, but if we were to break up, I would keep him.
They've also split most expenses for raising Banana, and he moves around with them during school breaks. And while they don't have any current plans to move in together,
I kind of talked to my mom about it, and she pays for my rent, and she was not a fan of it.
Banana Jones can rest assured that he has 2 loving parents that do have a plan. Reporting in Pullman, Alex McCollum, Murrow News 8.
Murrow College December graduates, you're almost done. But there's one more thing that you can do before you walk across that stage in just 2 days. Tomorrow from 1 to 5 p.m., students are invited to an open house in Gertzen Hall. Students can knock on Ed Murrow's door for good luck before graduation on Saturday. Now, what we know about today's release of Brittany Griner.
And what the weather will look like for graduation day, next on Murrow News 8. Earlier today, President Joe Biden tweeted that he had spoken to Brittany Griner and she was on her way home. The WNBA player's freedom comes after nearly 10 months in Russia for having illegal cannabis in her luggage. Griner was arrested back in late February of this year for a couple of THC vape cartridges. By early March, U.S. officials had started conversations about Griner's release, but by July, Griner's trial had started and she had pled guilty. The U.S. had offered Russia their first deal around this time. In August, Griner was sentenced to 9 years in Russian prison, but before the first 4 months were up, she was transferred to an unknown penal colony somewhere in Russia, before being moved again later to another penal colony later in the month. After further negotiations, President Biden was able to get Griner's conditional release in a prisoner swap for Viktor Bout, a prominent Russian arms dealer nicknamed the Merchant of Death. While many are glad for Griner's release, some are criticizing Biden's choice for freeing Griner over the other American prisoner, former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan.
Back in Washington, Snoqualmie Pass has reopened going both directions on I-90 after multiple collisions forced closures. Eastbound is open at milepost 63 while westbound remained closed. Now, latest reports say that all of I-90 is back open now, and WSDOT says crews worked to put concrete barriers back in place and tow trucks cleared the wreckage. They are reminding drivers to drive slowly and safe due to snowing and freezing rain. Now, all this talk about snow makes me pretty concerned about the winter graduates going home. Allison, how's Saturday's weather going to be looking?
Well, guys, that snow is just not going to be quitting anytime soon, unfortunately. For Saturday's graduation ceremony, we will be seeing some snow and maybe even some rain, but we'll get to more on that later. For now, let's take a look at today's temperature with Pullman's current conditions. We had a high of 34 with a low of 24. That sun has already set for the day, and right now we are starting to see some snow showers, and those showers are going to continue until tonight around 8 p.m. when that snow will just be dumping pretty consistently until the early hours of Friday morning. We're predicted to see about 4 inches in the next 12 hours. Now let's take a look at tomorrow. That snow will be letting up in the early morning on Friday. We have a high of 33 with a low of 22. It will be partly cloudy and those winds are going to stay pretty moderate. Now let's take a look across the state of Washington at all of our neighbors. Over on our west side, we see Olympia and Seattle with our statewide high temperatures. We've got Seattle with that signature rain with 44. And as we look into central Washington, we're actually going to see our statewide low over in Yakima with 16 degrees. And as we go over into Spokane and Pullman, we're going to be seeing that snow pretty consistently. Pullman with its signature snow. It's classic. What can I tell you? Now let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. I'm actually going to move out of the way so you can get a better look at that. What you're going to need to keep an eye on is Saturday. We have the high of 37 and we're going to be seeing that snow around 8 o'clock in the morning starting, and we even might have a chance of rain, and that will continue all day. So if you will be participating in any graduation ceremonies, make sure you wear a hood, an umbrella, whatever you got to do. And as we go into Monday and Tuesday, we'll see our coldest temperature. Back to you guys at the desk.
Now, thank you, Allison. The weather outside might be frightful, but the city of Moscow is so delightful. Tonight, the city of Moscow will be hosting the Light Up the Season parade and tree lighting event. Catherine Rowley was in Moscow earlier. Catherine, what's going on over there?
Well, it's a little festive here in Moscow. The city is actually putting on a really cool event tonight. So all along the street, there's going to be a parade starting at 6, leading up to a tree lighting ceremony. If you have some time, take a break from studying from finals. I know it's dead week, but hey, a break's a break. So come and enjoy the holiday festivities and bring in the holidays with the city of Moscow. Reporting in Moscow, I'm Catherine Rowley, Murrow, News 8.
Thank you, Catherine. Women's basketball made history again last night.
Derek Joseph is here to tell you how, next on Murrow News 8.
The WSU women's basketball team mounted a historic comeback last night in Portland, overcoming a 19-point deficit before taking a 69-63 victory over the University of Portland. The Cougars started off slow in this game, only scoring 6 points in the first quarter, but came alive toward the end of the second quarter, and the run was capped off by this half-court shot by Ula Motuga to end the half. Coach Etheridge had this to say about the Cougs' second half play.
We just had a great third quarter that we had the momentum for the most part and just had to scrap it out and really play well in the second half, and I thought we really did that.
The Cougars' next game is in Seattle on December 11th. The WSU men's basketball team won their matchup against Northern Kentucky with a commanding 68-47 victory. The Cougs were led by guard TJ Bamba, who led the team in scoring with 22 points, and Mohamed Gay, who finished his night with 14 points and 10 rebounds. This was the final Cougars home game before they begin regular conference play. The Cougars are set to play UNLV in the Las Vegas Classic December 10th. 3 members of the WSU volleyball team took home AVCA honors. Magda Yelasheva and Pia Timmer were both named a first-team All-Region, with Laura Janssen receiving honorable mention. This is the 4th time in 5 years that 3 Cougar volleyball players received All-Region honors. It's the World Cup quarterfinals with only 8 teams remaining. It begins on December 9th with Croatia and Brazil kicking off at 7 a.m., then the Netherlands and Argentina at 11 a.m. There will be 2 more matchups on the 10th, with Morocco facing off against Portugal and England playing France. The next round in the quarterfinals will start on December 13th.
Thank you, Derek. WSU could be getting even colder.
Find out how when we come back in 60 seconds. Now it feels like it's getting a little cold in here, had to throw on the sweater, and there might be an explanation for that. DeColdis Crawford, a wide receiver for Nebraska, has officially entered the transfer portal, and yesterday the Cougs offered him a scholarship. Crawford has arguably the best name in college football, alongside Auburn's Tank Bigsby and Alabama's Kool-Aid McKinstry. Thanks so much for watching. If you missed anything in this or any of our previous newscasts, you can always watch us on our YouTube channel.
And as always, more news can be found at nwpb.org/MNA, and you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Have a good night.